such sights to show you.
You are all going to die tonight.
This is bad comedy.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Good evening and welcome to Geek is Showing, the only podcast in the known universe where Super Cali goes ballistic and violence is atrocious. With me tonight, as ever, is the beautiful Cali.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another geeky-tastic episode of Geek is Showing.
It is filled to the brim.
Yep, we're actually living up to the name of Geek is Showing tonight. We're doing a nice little geeky chat.
We are indeed. But first, shall we do some housekeeping?
We, of course, shall do the...
Oh, hold on. No, we won't do that. How you been?
I'm good.
I have to do this.
Yes,
This
yes.
podcast law.
As you so wittingly put it last week, I'm as good as I am since the last time you asked me about 5 minutes ago. So
Well, I might, in the intervening 5 minutes, my leg dropped off.
which one?
The third one.
That says a lot. But yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, kind of complain. I've been a busy boy.
Same over here. Busy bitch. Up and down and left and right and all of the ways the Konami code can shake me. I've been through the absolute fucking ringer this week, but this week can kiss my ass. It's Sunday. It's time for your Geek is Showing. Anything else might as well not fucking exist in my brain right now.
Hold on, it's not Sunday. It's Wednesday. Remember, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday for the viewers. It's Sunday for us. Screw the chronology.
Oh.
I give two fucks about continuity at this moment in time. It is Sunday. It's Sunday evening, everyone. Hello.
Hello. Fair fucks then, mate. Right.
One of those. You tell.
Yeah, maybe you should start drinking some of this.
That's for after the show. I have half a bottle of Irish cream liqueur that I'm going to fucking demolish tonight because I need it. But anyway, moving on with the show, it's time for the shout-outs.
Hooray!
Okay, so 13 stars.
13
I've gone German all of a sudden.
13 stars.
13
stars. That's good.
That is a Rick Mail level of cock up, that.
Oh, yes.
Listen to me, Door. You're not going to upstage me. I'm Rick fucking Mail. I love that outtake from Bottom Live. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's the hip thrust at the door, like. And
bless him. Bless you, Rick.
Me and my friend Raven Rose were actually talking about him the other day while we were in the car going to drive, and we actually said national treasure, sorely missed. And
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's 10 years this year since we lost him.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was that long. I thought it was kind of right before COVID, but no. Really did surprise me. Sorry, tangenting here when I haven't even got to the shout outs, but I don't care right now.
Tangerine.
And there we go. Anyway, moving on to the comment section. Up first is friend of the show, Mr. Jimmy Lee Clifford.
Hey, Jimmy Lee.
Hey, good evening. Yes, I may need to join the Decepticon retirement home. That was one of the stories we were talking about in our fan fiction episode last week. What you need is a shirt with the Decepticon logo on the front and the Autobot on the back, so you can do a spin.
Oh, just turn around.
Yeah. Do a spin on the camera. I'll put the sound clip and everything on it. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I can make XP sing and dance. XP?
Your readers on.
I'm reading it right. However, this fangled cloud tech is a mystery. I nearly went and performed a samurai's last duty, having nearly deleted a great reading source. Yes, we did talk about that last week.
Naughty boy.
Since then, I've given him his own book, and he can fucking work on that himself. And I'll take all the credit for it. I'm joking. It's a collaboration. We are working on it together. It's just this, again, tangent here, people. The story that I'm working on, the more I work on it, the denser it kind of gets, and the more backstory and stuff of the characters becomes more relevant as the story goes on. So what I've decided to do is split a couple of the characters off and do sort of side stories. And it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those situations where you can read the main book and everything will make sense. But if you've read the side books that I'm going to be doing, certain things will, it's not spoilers, it's certain things will make a much more sense in the main story. Like you'll see certain things coming, be like, I was for this moment, I was wondering when this was going to crop up in the main story, because there is characters and stuff going on in those side ones that pop up in the main one, but aren't a main point just yet. I'm building my own little expanded universe over here.
Sweet. Your books have side missions.
Kind of, yeah. Definitely. But moving on, I'm disappointed, as is Mr. Fibble, on someone not watching Red Dwarf. I wonder who that is. Could it be the Calico Crichton?
Could be. Could very well be.
Could be. We need to Photoshop his head onto a picture of Crichton.
Do it.
That's going to be my mission for this week. Sorry, Tony,
Do it.
not too much, honey, but that's my mission for this week. I'm going to find a nice, good picture of Crichton. However, efforts are being made at my own lack of viewing in certain shows and films. Callista should back me up on this. Thanks for the DVDs. Yes, I recently lent him Judge Dredd. Now seen Dredd, he's now caught up on that, and one of the first things he said to me on party chat, because we game pretty much every night. One of the first things he said is like, "Why did this fly under my radar?" And the one thing I had to explain to him is it came out in, I think it was 2010. And in that year, there were 3 films that were pirated the most that year. I can't remember the third one, but the top 2 were Kick-Ass 2 and Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
So because these films got pirated to death, no one went to see them at the cinema, so they didn't get much of a push, which was kind of a trend for films back in the 2010s. If the studio didn't have faith in it, it didn't get a push. So when it flopped, they didn't care. Much like they really don't now, but now their budgets are 500 million and they're like, oh, why didn't it make $1 billion? Because it's crap. That's why it didn't make $1 billion, because it was crap. It was CGI and it was crap. It was crap. My PS1 looked better. Fuck you. I do apologize for that. Anyway, moving on with the final part of the comment. Have enjoyed your return. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you, Mr. Jimmy Lee Clifford. We'll try and get you on a future episode. Me and Guy have been talking about this off camera. We are planning something with a certain franchise, but we're waiting on that one. When we know, you'll know. Okay, don't call us, we'll call you.
Oh, anything that sounds like that. Anyway,
I could taste the backhandedness of that comment.
Oh, taste it. It's fucking mouth raping me.
But moving swiftly on with the comment section. Next up, we have the man, the myth, the beard, the ginger one, Mr. JK47, the ginger.
Oh, my favourite Australian.
Greetings, Callista and Guy from the land down under. He comes from a land down under. Did you not know that?
I was aware.
With the Vegemite sandwiches and weird kind of stuff. Crickets. And
Yeah.
I don't know what else. And they drink Castlemaine 4X.
Great adverts. Shit lager.
My dad, when he was alive, God bless him, said the exact same thing. Said, shame the beer isn't as nice, isn't as good as the adverts are.
Sensible fella, your dad.
But yes, on with JK's comment. Thank you muchly for the shout out. Always appreciated. Of course, honey, we always give shout outs to our supporters. I will be diving headfirst into all of the Hellraiser films, even the bad ones. But yeah, the first 3 or 4 are the better ones. We've talked about Hellraiser multiple times on here. We probably will do an episode on the remake when a certain someone gets around to watching it. But
I've got a lot of things on the top.
I'd say the first 4 and the remake are kind of my new. Well, they've always been my favorites, but the remake I kind of add in as those 5 films. That's for me. That's Hellraiser. But I did start watching the first episode where you took a look at Hellraiser 1. But due to poor time management on my side, I got not even 2 minutes into it before I had to leave to go and pick my daughter up for the weekend. And I've not been able to get back to it since. So apologies, JK. I will get round to watching it. I will get round to leaving a comment on each episode. It's just, as I had to say to Tony earlier today, normally I'm one of the first people to jump on. Tangent again, people. I'm kind of one of the first few people in Tony's group on Facebook to jump on first thing Saturday morning. I've got a picture up. It's Tony time, my little jingle that I do for him. This week, I got up. My phone was blowing up. Shit was going on. I could not focus on anything. So I had to say to Tony this morning, it's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so late on commenting on this one. I probably won't get a chance to watch it till Monday, maybe even Tuesday at this point. So I just want to apologize to everyone for fucking up and not being able to make comments at the moment.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, carrying on. Fanfic is all well and good and often can be better than the newer stories. I think there's also a touch of fan service towards fan fiction now, especially when it comes to sexy times. That's how it's wrote in question in fucking quotation marks and everything. Best example and the recent Krakoa era story in X-Men with Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Menage a Trois. Why did you not send us links to this one?
Yeah.
This definitely seems to be someone's fanfic gone wild. As I said in last week's episode, I can see sometimes where there's an episode of a show, especially if it's an ongoing show, where there's been a fanfic that I read 2-3 years prior, and then an episode with a very similar plot pops up, and I can't help but think writers out there are dipping into fan fiction. And as we said, good writing is good writing. You cannot deny that, whether or not it's fan fiction or a full, famous published writer like someone like Stephen King. Good writing is good writing, okay? And I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, some fan fictions are worth the read. Vast majority bypass, absolutely bypass. Oh, one thing I did want to note though, that Transformers story that I was talking about, I have recently found that the original author of it has come back to it.
Oh.
What they've done, and I kind of like them for this because it's made me want to read it again. They've stripped it right the way down. Got rid of the vast majority of the smutty stuff, unless it's for character, unless it drives the story forward. It's gone from 130 chapters down to 15 chapters. Let's put it that way. They've really condensed the story and reworked it. Basically, it's a complete rewrite.
How do robots fuck each other?
It's a human and a robot. Don't ask questions.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of those kind of stories. But like I said, all of that's kind of been taken out of it. From what I've seen anyway, there's a big forward from the chat from the author saying the 2010 version that I originally published is pretty much non-existent anymore. The core essence of the story is still there in what they've done now.
So 2010 is now 2024. Oh, you grew up.
I think it was more of a case of they were proud of the work they did on the later chapters, because as I said to you in that story, as it went on, that kind of stuff got to the point where there was none of that, and it was a very good story. So I think basically what they've done is they've looked at it and gone, you know what? I wrote that when I was 14 years younger. Obviously, hormone-driven writing, we've all had hormones at one point. I hope to get some more soon.
I made a hormone once, didn't pay it.
Another tangent. I was walking through town with friends the other week, and I just randomly went, "Oh yeah," and she went, "You okay?" I went, "Yeah, sorry, hormones."
Yes.
But no, so yeah, back to the original point. I think what this writer's done is they've gone back to that story and gone, you know what? All of that smut stuff doesn't need to be there because there's a good story in the essence of it. So if they've gone back and reworked it and made it a more adult story like it was originally supposed to be, not just a smut story, honestly, it's made me want to go back and read it again to see what changes and what's still the same. It's like watching a remake of a film, you know, like you want to see what's kept the same, you want to see what they've changed. So I may go back and read it. If anybody would like links to that, please let me know in the comments and I'll drop it in the reply to your comment, just in case anybody does want to read it now that it's been tidied up and it's not just a jerk fest.
I'll have a read of that.
Okay, right. Moving swiftly. Actually, no, sorry, wait. That is all the comments for On Your Geek is Showing. We do have a couple of comments for Violet's Collectables review, where she took a look at Chronomicon over here.
Nice.
JK, be honest, do you ever hold it and say, Patu, Barada, Nickel, Necktie?
Necktie.
The fuck up from the third film. I do know that scene. One of my favorite scenes, that. And my reply was, you know, there are times when I've had a little too much to drink and I go, you know what? Let's see if it works. Unfortunately, it doesn't.
So,
you know, it's been tested. It doesn't work.
It was a lovely episode, though.
Maybe I'm not using enough blood. I don't know.
I'll do a comment live and say, yeah, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And son of the Pertwee, Calico Crichton, Tony Harris from the Retro Movie Zone commented with, thank you so much for doing this video, Miss Violet. Yes, Miss Violet did dedicate that particular video to Tony because he did say on one of our previous episodes where Violet showed the book, he did say, I'd love to see a full review of that. So
he did.
That's what she did for you. There you go. You must not, under any circumstances, sell this thing of beauty. As Violet did say, there are moments where money gets tight, and I'm like, if I just popped it on eBay for like 100 quid, it would go. Because to buy that new in the shop at the minute, I think it's about 130, 140, depending on where you go. So it's like, if I put it down at a lower price, it would.
Oh yeah, you could flip it easily, but I don't think you should.
And I have recently found out that Lucy Lawless is going to be at the upcoming Telford Comic-Con.
Oh, cool.
And my brain just went, but she was in Ash versus Evil Dead. So if I managed to go and I managed to take that with me, I could get Lucy Lawless to sign my Necronomicon.
Nice. Nice.
I'm going to see if I can, depending on dates, because obviously with it being over a weekend, if it's a weekend where I've got my daughter, that's the ticket that I would have to take into account for, and it's also travel costs and all that kind of stuff. So if it's financially viable, I will go and I will get Lucy Lawless to sign my Necronomicon. I will.
I'd like to see Lucy Lawless.
I bet you would. Well,
being a fan of both Tits and Battlestar Galactica, I'd like to.
And Xena. Can't forget Xena.
That was implied in the comment, Tits.
He's got a one-track mind, hasn't he?
It was implied.
Anyway, it may be over £100, but I'm so tempted. Just hope I don't find myself in Freak Treat. Yes, that's where I got my copy from. I think they do have another one in stock. I know they have a lovely Hellraiser Inferno cube that's actual wood and brass that I would really like to get to replace my plastic one. Because as cool as that looks, it is just plastic. I would like one that actually looks screen accurate to go alongside with that one. So,
yeah.
But with my debit card on me, because I'll be walking out with it. That's one of the main reasons why I don't have a credit card, because we have a shop like that in town. And I know for a fact I would be like, oh, well, I can pay that off at the end of the month, because I've seen in there and it's the one thing I want. I want it. This is weird for me as a gamer, but it's the one thing I want more than a PlayStation 5. They have, from The Bride of Chucky, they have a Tiffany movie replica. And it's in a black box that says child free on it and everything. That on its own is a whopping £650. It is expensive as all hell, and she would be up on the top of the shelf, which nobody ever sees but me.
Yeah.
I may have to get her out of box and just sort of sit her on the shelf one time when I'm filming.
I don't know, 600 quid. Do you take it out of the box?
See, I do have some stuff that I've kept in the box up on the top of the shelf. That's my inbox area right up here. I'll snap a photo and put it on the screen. But yeah, up there is my inbox area. So, I mean, something like that, I may keep it in the box. But it's so beautiful to not get it out of the box and admire it. This is I'm normally an out of box collector, as you can see. Everything is out of the box. Because, and I had a conversation with a toy vendor about this at a Comic-Con. They were saying that it feels a bit of a crime for these toy companies like NECA, Hasbro, all that kind of stuff, to spend the money designing the figures, putting the articulation in, giving them the amazing paint jobs, especially like I said, the NECA ones, the Predators and stuff like that. To do that and not take them out of the box, to just leave them sat in a little plastic prison for the rest of their lives, kind of seems a bit pointless. Because it's like, if you wanted something like that, you might as well just buy a statue. If you want something that's just going to sit in a box and you're not going to look at it, you're not going to get it out and, you know, anything, you might as well just have a statue on your shelf. And I'm in full agreement, because one of the big things, we are tangenting like a fucker tonight, but it's okay. It's geek chat. It doesn't really, there's no flow or rhyme or reason here tonight. The one thing I love about collecting, for me, is whenever I take them down and dust them, I do all the shelves, one of the fun things for me is rearranging them. Putting my Predators in different action poses, you know, having them like make it look like they're fighting each other or something like that. That for me is part of the fun, because it's like, every time you go past your display, you can tweak it, you can change it a little bit. It's always changing, it's always on the move. And I love that. Like my Decepticon shelf over here. Recently, I got the throne back out of Starscream's Coronation box set. And I've decided I'm going to put that front and center with Megatron in the middle of it, even though I've got Galvatron for me. Megatron, OG, all the way. He's going to be front and center in that throne with the rest of the Decepticons behind him. Because to me, that's an iconic kind of image. Megatron just sitting there all, I'm king of every fucking thing. So, but there we go. That's the end of the comment section.
Yeah, sorry, folks. It took us a while, but we got it.
We're like 20 minutes into fucking recording this, and we're only now just getting to the next segment of the show.
Yes. So, well, once again, we have to ask the immortal question: what color are your knickers? I mean, what you been watching, mate?
Well, it's going to be a short answer from me this week. We talked about this off camera. This week, I have literally watched an episode and a half of The Boys season 4. So I'm at least getting into that. I've got the rest of episode 2, and then it's episode 3, because it's only the first 3 episodes that are out currently.
Yeah.
And Supernatural, again, an episode and a half of Supernatural, because again, due to life being a bastard to me, I haven't had time to sit and watch TV. I've either been sat here editing, typing my book up, restoring something that someone nearly fucking deleted, and working on a mask for Pride Month. Because everybody knows, yes, I'm going to talk about it. It's Pride Month. I'm trans. If you don't know that by now, why are you watching the channel? If you don't know. But yeah, I've been working. Fuck it, I'll show it off. It still needs a
Oh,
varnish.
it's spoiling it.
Still needs a varnish.
Spoilers.
Yeah, the light's bleaching the pink out, but hold on, there we go. Pink, black, white, and blue, which if you look at the trans flag are the colours of the trans flag.
Just
White.
looks all blue.
I know the lighting in here is crap. It's better when it'll look better on TikTok. But yeah, if you look at a trans pride flag, it's a white stripe down the middle with 2 pink and then 2 blue. So that's my mask. I have a flag as well, which I'm going to be using in my videos.
Cool.
So there we go. That's pretty much what I've been doing this week. What about you, Guy? What have you been watching this week?
Right. Okay. Let's see. Where do we start? Okay. So was the Acolyte.
Still going good?
Yep, it's still going good actually. This they have actually had a bit of a record on their hands with this. The first episode got 4.8 million views, which beat Obi-Wan, beat Ahsoka. Yeah, they've got a bit of hands.
That's good then.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. So,
I still haven't watched it, but like I just said,
well, yeah, you're a bit busy, so you know. So there's that. What else did I watch? Oh, pay attention, dear.
Sorry, I was just closing a window.
Took you out the window a minute. Oh yeah.
Promises, promises.
Look at me! Look at me! Anyhow, too right.
Am I making it weird yet?
No. You'd be amazed at the amount of weird I can take.
What about now?
No, you're just weirding out the ladies and gentlemen.
Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so there was the Acolyte. I watched more of Supernatural.
yeah, that there Supernatural with them.
That there Supernatural.
Yeah,
that there
with them there Winchester boys.
with them there. Make it sound like the Duke's house. I love it.
Do you know what? I'm surprised they didn't do a crossover with that. They did a Scooby-Doo one.
Well, actually,
you're just getting up to that episode, aren't you?
no, actually, there is a bit of a Duke Boys moment.
Oh, right, okay. Don't spoil it. I will get there.
I won't. But yeah, you'll get there. You'll enjoy that.
I will get to that episode eventually. Like I said, I'm still on the fucking arse end of season 6 right now. I'm literally about to start episode 23 because I got it wrong. I wasn't halfway through episode 22. I was halfway through episode 21. I watched the rest of that episode and then I watched all of episode 22. But when the final episode started, I was like, stop there. I have to go out now. I will watch that another day.
Looks like them Winchester boys are going to have to learn how to fly. They'll start flapping their arms real fast. Sorry, can't help it. Love Dukes. So yeah, there was that. I also watched The Boys, all 3 episodes because I'm good. And the boys are back in town. Just say.
Yeah. As soon as episode 1 was finished, I was like, this is still on form. This is.
They ain't dropped a beat.
Yeah.
They ain't dropped a beat.
It's definitely one of those shows. I mean, we say this about a lot of shows, like, give it to like the 3rd season and it gets really good. No, The Boys is one of those ones that season 1 is fucking brilliant, and then it just gets better and better. Each season after that, up to this, has just got better and better.
So there was that. I also watched. This morning, I watched Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
I've seen that advertised. I want to watch that again. Not had chance.
It's on Prime.
I know. That's where I've seen it advertised. So I want to get it watched because I'm one of those people who remembers the fake out trailer they did for it years ago. Yeah. It was just a joke, and it actually became a reality, and I fucking love that for it. Like, just anyway, continue. Is that it?
Well, I was going to give you opinions on it, but you want to watch it, so I shall wait.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's what I do. So yeah, what was that? Did I watch anything else, bud? Oh, a little show called Doctor Who.
Tony's dad. Tony's dad.
Yeah, so it was the first part of the series finale.
How is Doctor Who going at the moment?
For me, and
For
this
you
is
personally, we always go with personal opinions on this show, so if people don't
just
like
for
it,
me.
fuck off.
He didn't Shooting didn't become the Doctor for me until episode 6.
I did see you say something about that to Tony in like,
Yeah,
Facebook. Like it's one of those slow burns. Like
yeah, because when the new actor takes over, becomes the Doctor, and he's usually, oh yeah, by the end of the first episode, oh yeah, he's the Doctor.
to be honest, right? This is one thing I will say about the more recent Doctors. Pretty much since David Tennant, Matt Smith, Jodie Whittaker, Peter Capaldi. For me, when they all first started, like you said in the first episode, they kind of finding their feet. I mean, each
Yeah.
regenerated Doctor is a slightly different variation of the original Doctor. We get this. But for me, with those Doctors, they all had their. It wasn't episode really specific. It didn't. There was no like, oh, it gets to this episode, boom. There was just one moment in kind of an episode where I'd go, "That's the Doctor."
Yeah.
They'd have what I call their Doctor moment, where they'd do something or they'd say something.
Mm.
You go, that's the doc. That's the Doctor I know. That's the Doctor I remember. And like I think, like you just said, didn't become your Doctor or the Doctor until that episode. So they had their moment.
Yeah, episode 6.
I may
And there's
give it a
8
check out at
episodes.
some point. There's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Couple of weeks.
nothing against Shoot Gatwa. I think he's an amazing actor. I really do. And I've enjoyed Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday.
Yep.
Stand out for me, it's only been fucking Anita Dobson. Angie from EastEnders herself.
Oh, good old Angie.
These are divorce papers, my sweet. No, anyway, well, I go off on an EastEnders check.
Oh, here we go.
No, she's been bloody marvelous.
Yeah, good. I may swing around and check that out at some point. I watched the Christopher Eccleston Doctor, the David Tennant Doctor, the Matt Smith Doctor, the Peter Capaldi Doctor. It was the Jodie Whittaker Doctor where I kind of fell off of it, and not because I defend myself with this every time. It wasn't because it was female Doctor. No, in fact, do you know what? I was one of those people being like, yeah, let's see what she can do. Let's see what a female Doctor's all about. But for me, like every episode, the vibe wasn't there for me anymore. I don't know whether it was what I had going on in my personal life at the time when trying to watch it, or just the show itself. But for me, it just kind of fell flat. Like each episode felt like it was building up to something, and then it kind of didn't. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So I noped out. I noped out in that at that point.
I'll tell you what, the one thing I have really enjoyed of this series is that they've not resorted to the tired cliche of the companion is in love with the Doctor, but is not reciprocated.
Yeah, I grew tired of that after.
God.
When it was Billy Piper as Rose, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. But then they tried to do the same thing with the next companion, and then the next companion, and then Captain Jack was also in love with the Doctor, and it was just like, we get it. Doctor's hot. But stop, please.
Yeah, and they've not done it this series. I think
Good.
Russell T has learned the lesson. Don't do it, because it's been done to death. So applause to Russell T.
Yeah.
I think that is about all I've watched, isn't it?
Good.
I think.
Well, then that moves.
Oh, I watched Cannonball Run this afternoon.
Hey, good old classic.
Bit of Sunday fun.
Bit of Sunday fun with the old Burt Reynolds there.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Right, trivia about Burt Reynolds. One of my all-time favorite appearances of Burt Reynolds is not actually in a film,
Hmm.
a video game.
Hmm.
If you've ever played Saints Row the Third,
Nope.
he makes a cameo in it, and you can, if you complete the game, you can actually hire him as a backup to hang around with you while you go around shooting people.
Sweet.
But he cameos as the mayor of Burt Reynolds.
Nice.
And there's this wonderful bit where because the character that you play as is you make your own character, you give it a voice and everything. And there's this wonderful bit where your character walks into the mayor's office, the chair spins round, there's Burt Reynolds, cowboy hat, cigar, half naked woman on his lap, turns round, and your character goes, "My God, it's Burt fucking Reynolds. What the fuck are you doing here?" And Burt Reynolds just goes, "Who else you think could run this town?
Shit.
You kitty cat spilling wine.
He's trying to.
Have you caught him before he did it?"
Yes.
Good.
Get off my Back to the Future t-shirt, you little prick.
He's telling you what to watch. But yeah, so there you go, trivia. Burt Reynolds appeared in Saints Row the Third as the mayor of Steelport because apparently he's the only one who could run a town like that. That says a lot about the mentality and mindset of the developers of that game.
Yes, it does.
There you go. But that's it for what we've been watching. So
yes, it's time for the meat.
The meat of the geek chat, and what we decided.
More geek chat.
More geek chat. Yeah, we've chatted really geekily, but now we actually have a focus point with this geeky chat. I went online earlier, did some digging around about things we talked about in previous episodes.
Excellent.
We are going to take a look at some pictures of them, and yes, I will edit the pictures into the video. They will appear somewhere on the screen as you're watching, but we're going to go through them in order that I sent them to Guy, because that's
by the magic of television.
Yes, we have our phones at hand.
We do.
Right. So here we go. The first one we have up is the NECA Christopher Lee Dracula. Now, looking at the picture of that, it is a stunning recreation of Christopher Lee in his absolute prime.
It really is.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any pictures that showed a full spread of the accessory set because there are so many. I didn't know this, but there are so many versions of that Dracula out there. There's a 1/6 scale one by Hot Toys, which looks pretty much the same. So when I'm looking at pictures, I'm having to go into fine detail, like looking for articulation joints and stuff, because the Hot Toys doesn't have that. It's all fabric clothing, whereas the NECA one does. So I was looking and could not get it. But yeah, that Christopher Lee.
Oh, he looks fabulous.
And I'm hoping, because NECA do this quite a lot with their horror-y stuff. They did it with their Universal Monsters, Frankenstein, Dracula, and Mummy figures. They brought out accessory sets. Where with Dracula, you obviously got the coffin. With Frankenstein, you got the chair. With the Mummy, you got the sarcophagus and things like that. So it just builds up your diorama. And if you're a toy photographer, little accessories and things like that go a long freaking way. But the next one we're going to
Golden Gun would be really fun.
Do you know what, right? For this next one, I'll tell you about this one in just a second. But the next one we have up, if I can back out the bloody picture, is the NECA Vincent Price. Now, this one, absolutely.
I want both.
Yeah, this one, though, absolutely blew me away. We did talk about this in a previous episode because it just been announced, but we now have proper product shots. My God, they have loaded this guy up with accessories. You get a collection of, you get a candle, a skull, a teacup, a little saucer, a lit cigarette, a little book, which
a lit cigarette.
Well, it's a cigarette with like smoke coming off the end of it to make it look like it's lit. You get a little book, but I can't quite see what the book is. I'm guessing it is a reference to something he's done, or something to do with Vincent Price. It's bound to be a reference. Same with the little pile of vinyls that he comes with. So I'm hoping an accessory set comes with like a little turntable, like a gramophone.
Yeah.
Because that with like Vincent Price sat in a chair with that next to him.
Oh, that'd be wicked.
But he also comes with, I'm just keeping my phone screen open here. He comes with 3 different neckerchief options. So you can have bow tie, straight black tie, or red neckerchief. So you've got 3 different options there. And 3 different heads. At least it looks like 3 different head sculpts here because there's one on the figure, 2 by the side of it. And they're basically him at different ages.
Yeah.
So, if you want him with, nice full head of hair, young as everything, then there's kind of a little bit older. And then there's the older Vincent Price with the grey hair and a few wrinkles. And as people like my age would remember him from when he starred in things like, he starred in his final film, Edward Scissorhands. That, again, that's one of my favorite films. But he also comes with several hand options, a swappable arm piece that has peg holes in it because it comes with a raven that can be plugged into his arm, so you can have him stood with his arm out and the raven is stood on his arm. And he also comes with a little black black kitty cat curled up, so you can have it by his feet while he's sat in a chair. And a lot of the promotional images do show him sat on this really fine looking ornate leather chair. And again, NECA, please release that as an accessory pack, because if you do, that Christopher Lee, that Vincent Price, and that accessory set with a chair, they are purchases. I will go without food for a month if I can get hold of those.
Do we have a price point?
I think at the moment, the price point that was released, obviously, it's America first, so it's in dollars. They are coming out at, I think, $34.99 in dollars, which over here, depending on where you buy them from, is anywhere between £40 and £60, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Because NECA figures, they're over here, the prices are starting to creep up because obviously import prices are going up.
Yeah.
So that is the downside to these. Right, moving on swiftly. Next, we have one that as soon as I seen this, I was like, oh, it's what I've been waiting for. We have from Transformers Legacy United, we have animated Soundwave leader class set, which is Soundwave and 3 of his cassette tapes in original animated colors.
So we got Rumble, Ravage, and it does actually look like Buzzsaw on the picture instead of Laserbeak.
Yes, it's Buzzsaw, not Laserbeak. I did notice that. I think the thing is with Laserbeak and Rumble, I've noticed this a lot with Hasbro. I see what you're doing, Hasbro. I noticed this a lot. When a Soundwave figure comes out, just recently, they don't come with any tapes. None at all. The most recent Legacy United wave that come out back when the line first started was just a reissue of the Siege one. Came with no tapes. A couple of months later, they released Rumble and Laserbeak in a 2-pack together. Because they know, Hasbro know, crafty.
They know.
That those 2, when it comes to Soundwave, when you say Soundwave, name 2 of his tapes, those are the first 2 that people will name.
Yeah.
They are bankable characters. So they'll cut. It's like DLC in a video game. They know the essential part of this character, but they're going to cut it off and sell it to you separately, like they do with DLC. It's an essential part of the game, but if you want it, an extra £15, please.
Yeah.
So, but this set, to me, the Soundwave it comes with does look like another reissue. But like I said, it's in more cartoon accurate colors, and you've got the 3 tapes with it. So for me, that is the perfect set. If I bought that Soundwave, I wouldn't need to buy another one. And if I find the cassettes out in the wild, I'll pick them up to go with it.
What's the sort of size?
I think it's been listed as a deluxe box set, which if that's the case, that's the £50 price mark when it comes to Transformers Deluxe.
Right. So size-wise, are we on like a par with Masterpiece or?
Picture, by looking at the picture, I'd say quality-wise, you're looking at mainline like the rest of my Transformers that I currently own.
Yeah.
But when it comes to price for Masterpiece, these are much, much cheaper. And in all honesty, I think the mainline Transformers that are getting released now have the same level of engineering as Masterpiece, and Masterpiece has definitely become its own. If you are a high-end collector, Masterpiece is where you want to go. If you're just a normal collector like myself, Legacy. Because I mean, wait there 2 seconds. Oh, this is my most recent pickup because I got it at an absolute fucking bargain. I could not buy it. But this is Transformers Legacy Blitzwing. Now, he is a choddy boy.
Yeah.
But you look at how accurate to the cartoon that head sculpt is.
Oh yeah, it's that.
I mean, okay, you have a few gappy issues like at the ankles because there's nothing there. A hell of a lot of backpack. But as I pointed out by looking at the animation model, even the animation model for Blitzwing had a chunky backpack on him.
Yeah.
Because he's a triple changer. He's a tank, he's a jet, he's a robot. And I did say when I was talking to you about this privately, guy, he's one of those triple changers, and a lot of triple changers have this problem. It's not just this guy. There's always one mode that suffers. Tank mode, beautiful. Robot mode, I mean, robot mode right now, just look.
Yeah.
Fucking stunning. Tank mode, however, not so much.
I thought you said tank mode was good.
Jet mode, not so much. It because of the way all the tank pieces have to go. It looks like a jet has belly flopped onto a tank to try and crush it. They kind of got stuck together, and then the jets tried to fly away with a half squashed tank underneath its back end. It looks as aerodynamic as a bumblebee. You know what I mean? It's not that bumblebee, an actual bumblebee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The jet mode does not look good. The jet mode is the weak. It's not that it's a bad mode. It has its own little elegance to it. But when you compare it to the other two modes,
you do realize you're going to have to get an Astro train to go with.
I have been looking at one. They did release one, but it was such a fucker to try and get hold of. And the aftermarket prices on that are like, I could buy a commander class.
But you can't have one without the other.
I know. The next triple changer I really want to get my hands on is Springer. I've got RC, I've got Blur, I've got Ultra Magnus, I've got Hot Rod.
Oh, right. So you're thinking movie crew.
Yeah, that is my whole reasoning for it. I need a Springer for my 86 shelf because my Autobot shelf up here, where my finger is right now, that's my Autobot shelf. It's pretty much original cartoon and 86 onwards. I've got Sideswipe up in the corner. I've got Skids. I've got Ultra Magnus, Blaster. It's pretty much 86. Once I've got Springer, I just need Cup. Oh, and Jazz and Bumblebee.
And you got to get a Sunstreaker to go with Sideswipe.
Again, another one I wanted. Another one I've not been able to find. Not out in the wild anyway. Any of the toy shops I've been to that I know sell Transformers. I've never had a Sunstreaker in.
Motherfuckers.
So yeah, it's a case of finding that is half the problem with the ones that I have missing from my collection.
See, this is the other problem.
Yeah.
This is the other problem is, well, if you're gonna get him, you gotta get him. If you're gonna get him, you gotta get him.
I was out Friday actually with my friend Raven Rose. We went to Smith's in Tamworth, and they had a Shark-Tacon. It's only £20. And I was like, see, problem is if I get him, I need a Quintesson. And they have done a Quintesson in the Siege line. And I was like, but if I get the Quintesson, then I'm going to need the Quintesson Judge guy. Like the guy with all the swingy tentacles thing, because I think there is one of him as
The
well.
clerk of the court.
And then I was like, but if I get him, then I'm also going to need the Junkions. And if I get one Junkion, I'm going to need multiple Junkions. And this is the spiraling effect of being a collector.
This is the problem.
It's knowing where that stopping point is. It's knowing, oh, no, enough is enough. The amount of times I see an Optimus Prime and I go, well, I haven't got that version of Optimus
Prime.
But I've got a Optimus Prime. I mean, I already own 2 different versions of RC. I own Kingdom Hot Rod and Original Hot Rod. And at one point, I did have the Power of the Primes Hot Rod. So and the Masterpiece. So at one point, I did have 4 different Hot Rod figures. So I need to go, no, I just need one that for me is my definitive one. I still have my original and the Masterpiece. The Power of the Primes one went because that was not a great figure. It looked cool, but it was not a fun figure to fuck up to get from one mode to the other. It was not a good toy to play with. Giggity. So when I got the Kingdom one, because it was a commander class, and for me it did everything the original toy did, it just upped its game. Better transformation, the display base when you get the battle base all set up and Rodimus is up on the guns, you get it in an action pose. It looks so fucking incredible. It's like, that's my definitive version. That's the one that goes on the shelf. Same with, no worries. Same with Earthrise Prime. Same with Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Basically, any Transformer I've got up there, it's been a case of I bought it for that reason. I bought it because it's my definitive version of it. So I try to limit it to characters that I need because they're part of the film. That's what I tried to narrow it down to. So if I got a Sharkticon, it would just be the one. You know what I mean? And he'd go on the Decepticon shelf. He would go on the Decepticon shelf.
No, I think you'd have to.
Yeah. But moving swiftly on, we very on that one because we've got a lot more to talk about here. Up next, we have the GoBox Guardians 3-pack. It's basically a repaint of Warpath, Cosmo, and Gears. Gears only just recently come out, and I have seen him, but he's still a little bit just out of my price range at the moment.
And with that paint job, it looks like he has come out.
And I really, really do want to get a figure of Gears because Gears goes with Brawn. And thanks to you.
No, Gears goes with Huffer.
Huffer? That's another one I need then. And Prowl. See, it never ends. It never ends, people. Right. But yeah, I'm not so keen on these repaints. I was not a GoBots fan. I'm not a GoBots fan. Never was. I get the appeal of it. There are people out there who are fans of both. This is going to appeal to them. But for me, it's a pass. I'd rather have the original coloured card. I'd rather have them in their own colours.
For me, repaints is just lazy.
Well, I'm in the camp of I don't mind repaints if it's like if it's a con exclusive. If it's like a Transformers con or a Comic-Con exclusive paint version of, say, if they brought out Blitzwing but in Generation 2 colours, right? It's cool. I've already got one. I don't need it. But for those of you who want that, it's there. Go get it. So repaints, from my perspective, are a case of it's there for those who want it, but it's not for me.
Not for me either.
Exactly. But moving swiftly on from that, I mean, they do look pretty good. Again, pictures will be on screen of all these.
Yeah. Don't worry,
now,
folks.
this one gets me. Breaking my rule here. This is an Optimus Prime that I went, oh, you know what? Just recently, little bit of backstory. Hasbro did bring out a what they called Convoy Missing Link, which was basically the OG Transformers Generation 1 Optimus Prime figure given an overhaul, better articulation, more accessories, proper hands, this kind of stuff. It was given like the full VIP treatment, made like to be more like a modern figure. Now that one's good. It's good, but it's fucking expensive. I think it's about 80 quid. Right? It is fucking expensive for what it is. So what Hasbro have done as part of their Transformers Legacy United Wave 4 is they've done G1 Optimus Prime, which is basically the original figure, with better articulation. So the same thing as the missing link, but it's smaller. It's slightly smaller scale, and it's at a cheaper price point as well. It's in the, I think it's deluxe class. Yeah, it's in deluxe class, so that means that one will be around anywhere between £35 and £50, depending on the size. It's the size of the boxes that they come in tends to vary the price when it's a deluxe class. Because I bought some deluxes that are £50, but then I bought some that are 60, like Ultra Magnus. He was 60, but Galvatron was 50. They're both same class. So anyway,
I've got to say, I don't like this.
you don't like it.
No.
I think it's cool.
No, I don't like it.
I think it's kind of cool. It recreates that original toy, but in plastic form, which for me is closer to what the original was like anyway.
I just, no, it's not doing it. This one's not doing it for me. There's better Optimus Primes than that already out.
You know what I would love to see if they did a Megatron in that same style and put them in a 2-pack.
Oh, the old trigger cock.
Yeah, Trigger Crotch. Yeah, if they did that, if they did an Optimus and a Megatron in those original toy styles like that.
Oh shit! No, that's never gonna happen.
Oh, it'll probably never happen. But do you know how cool that would be? Just to have those original looking toys standing side by side.
Oh, it would be totally cool, but it's just it's
For me, right, it's that pose. I'll quickly show this on camera. It's that pose that got it for me. When I saw that picture, I was like, you know what? That's what I wish the original could have done.
Well, we all wish the originals were better than they were, because let's face it, me and you were both there.
Again, I will flash this up on camera, but yeah, there's a picture of it next to the missing link one. You can see there is a height difference. There is a height difference.
Just bear with me a tick. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Right, moving on to Marvel Legends news. I don't have a release date for this one because I didn't catch it, but it's one of the Marvel Legendary Riders series. These usually go for about 50 to 60 quid. You get in a figure and a vehicle, so please bear that in mind. But it is the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider. Now, that bike looks fucking awesome.
I'm not that
sold on it. Oh, I'm surprised. But yeah, I'm loving the look of this. I mean, the Ghost Rider himself, that's not the image I think of when I think of Ghost Rider, in all honesty. But the bike with the face shield and everything on it, that's what I remember. When I read comics with Ghost Rider in it, that was the bike he was on. So for me, the bike is definitely the attraction there. But I may pick it up. I did have the Cosmic Ghost Rider for a while, where he was on the big weird hover bike thing that had a big blue ball at the front of it. I was never keen on it. I never kind of. It was meant to be Frank Castle as the Punisher with the power of the Ghost Rider, but he was also a Herald of Galactus.
That's a lot to swallow.
Yeah, which is what she said. But
she did.
I didn't like. I was never overly keen on that figure. The proportions were all gangly to make it fit on the bike. It never sat right with me. That one. It felt too skinny. If it's meant to be the Punisher, it
needs to be a beefy old boy.
Yeah, it was a skinny ass fucking character. But again, it had to fit on the bike. But this one, to me, if I find this, I will. If I find it out in the wild, I would happily pick that up if I can get it for a good price.
Yeah.
Now, this one was just recently announced, as in like this weekend. But this one is one that's made me go, I don't know. And that is Scar, Son of Hulk.
I don't know too much about Scar.
I don't, out of what I've seen it in video games and the short-lived Hulk and the Agents of Smash TV series.
Yeah.
That's
short-lived for a fucking reason.
Yeah, but I honestly don't know much about this character. It looks like a nice Hulk figure. I mean,
yeah,
I like the head sculpt, the calm head sculpt where the hair's kind of where he's like that. That looks imposing to me. If that was on your shelf with that head sculpt on, and he's just stood there like looking down at another character, it would look cool on a shelf. But For me, it's I don't need that. I've got a Hulk that I'm currently trying to get rid of, so
Yeah.
I
So
don't need this.
if anyone wants Cali's Hulk,
Yeah, hit me up. I've got a Hulk for sale. It's the Diamond Select Hulk, so it's a big, heavy fucker. Lastly, yep, this is the last picture. This one kind of made me go, you know what? I have a Swamp Thing figure. I need a Man Thing figure for it to fight. So there it is, Werewolf by Night.
I like this.
Now, from what I understand, this is just a reissue of a builder figure that came out about 4 or 5 years ago with a new head sculpt to make it look more like it did in the show, because the original head sculpt had the brown bit coming around the head and down the face.
Yeah.
Make it more comic book accurate, but this is more TV show accurate. And I actually watched a video on YouTube where someone was talked about the announcement of this, because again, this is another one we just announced. And I was sat with my daughter and she said, "Oh, this is made me want to seeing that's made me want to watch Werewolf by Night again." And that got me onto a conversation, which again, okay, we've done with the action figure stuff now, pictures are all done, bye-bye. But it definitely made me think that's one thing that Marvel have kind of been very tight-lipped about. And we talked about this when Werewolf by Night first come out. So go back through the archives, find an episode where we talked about it. For me, Werewolf by Night was the perfect time for Marvel to open the door to the more horror side of the comics. They have done horror stuff. They've done the Tomb of Dracula. They've done all the stuff with Blade.
Yeah.
The Howling Commandos with Werewolf by Night, Man Thing, and some other monstery types, a Frankenstein character. I think it's time that, because the big name comic book characters nowadays are starting to tank a little bit, Ant-Man, all that kind of stuff, and basically anything that's come out of the MCU in the past 2 years is starting to tank because we're bored. We're bored of them.
Well, I was going to come on to this for the next subject, but
Right, we'll start it now. I'll start you off and you can do your bit. I honestly think that Marvel needs to start going deeper with the comic book references and pulling in more fans. In other words, get the Blade film made, because that can be a jump off to do a series, not a film, an actual show, ongoing thing of.
I do believe that's been delayed.
Pardon?
I do believe it has been delayed.
Oh, Blade is constantly getting delayed and losing directors and losing this, that. At this point, I don't think it'll ever get frickin' made, right?
Well, Thingy, his name. Oh, what's his name? He was supposed to be playing Blade.
I can never remember his name.
Someone Ali, begins with an M. He's been actually signed up to do the next Jurassic World.
Well, then he's not Blade, then, is he?
So, it's gonna be like, well, I'm off to play dinosaurs and then I come back and play monsters.
But no, back to my original point. I honestly think that Marvel now, to get the hype back up, delve into the horror world, do a Werewolf by Night series, not a one-off special, do a series, and then you can lead that up to him joining the Howling Commandos with Man Thing and bringing the Frankenstein character and all that kind of stuff. Because the horror side of Marvel right now is an untapped resource.
Yes, it is.
The only reason why characters like Blade are as popular as they are is because of the horror comics. Ghost Rider, for me, Ghost Rider, although he's a mainline Marvel hero, was definitely more horror-based. It dealt with themes of hell and Faustine deals and all sorts of stuff. So start doing more of that kind of stuff, because we've got bored of the squeaky clean, family-friendly Captain America telling Tony Stark to watch his language when he says shit. We've had enough of all that. Well, Wolverine Deadpool's coming up, so let's hope things change. But anyway, go on, Guy. You have your say with this bit.
So Marvel have announced that they're doing a Vision series with Paul Bettany.
I'd love to see that, because Paul Bettany is low-key one of my favorite actors.
He's really good, but I'm sorry, but no.
It's another character that's been done we've seen enough of. I mean,
It's just no. Come on, bring on the Fantastic Four now. Bring on the mutants. Sorry, but no.
Yeah. I've been
I'm
saying
just not hyped at all. I'm
I've
just
been
like,
saying this for a very long time. I started saying this actually when Endgame came out, and it was announced that Disney were in talks with Fox to buy them out
mm,
around about the same sort of time. I said even back then, honestly, if Marvel and Disney have got their heads on, they'll get that deal put through as quick as fucking possible.
mm,
They'll get an X-Men movie out and they'll set up X-Men versus Avengers.
yep,
Because that was one of the big events in the comic books, X-Men versus Avengers.
yep,
And I'm hoping, I'm again, fingers fucking crossed with this one. I'm hoping that whatever happens within Wolverine and Deadpool, because he's dealing. We've seen from the trailers. This is what we're saying here now is from what we've gleaned from trailers. We know
mm,
from the trailers that Deadpool's working with the TVA, right?
yep,
The fact that the way Loki season 2 ended, and the way that What If season 2 ended, kind of on that image from the end of Loki with the tree that he's
yeah,
holding together. With Deadpool coming into it, I've got an awful funny feeling that they're going to use this as an excuse to rewrite the timeline
mm,
and basically say that all the stuff with all the previous MCU stuff that all still happened, but the retcon is going to be that the X-Men and everything were there as well.
yeah,
And then they're going to go forward with this now united universe, I suppose is the best way to put it, where you've got the X-Men and the Avengers in one universe. And that's going to lead into hopefully bringing in the Fantastic Four, Doc Doom, and Galactus. And if they take their time with it,
well, this is the thing.
if they do what they did with the first, I mean, we've got a
Mm,
look. The MCU now is what, 12, 13 years old, the MCU at this point?
yeah,
Right? If they take their time and stagger the releases and do it properly, they could have another 10 or 15 years on their hands.
yeah,
Good movies with new characters that people have been wanting to see for fucking ages.
yeah.
Do the X-Men properly.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, I don't. The last thing I want is for this podcast to become right. Let's bash MCU.
Yeah, because
I don't want that.
honestly, we don't, right? I mean, this is one thing that really gets me down as a lifelong comic book fan. I don't read comic books as much anymore because the newer stories just don't do it for me. But those stories that I grew up with, and then I see these adaptations of these stories and things like that, I don't like bashing the MCU.
No, that's the last thing we want to do.
But when they make it so fucking easy by putting out shoddy scripts with shoddy CGI and
Mediocre.
last minute reshoots and dodgy. I mean, the ending of Ant-Man and the Wasp for me is one of the prime examples of last minute reshoots that fuck the film.
Yeah.
They make this big whole thing about them. Oh, if you do this now, you'll be stuck down there forever. So they do it. They make that sacrifice. And then literally 30 seconds later, a portal opens behind them that they can get through.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what was the point of that build-up then?
Exactly.
No, you don't pull the rug out from under us like that because it was going to leave the film going, well, that was fucking pointless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I did, after I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, with that resolution, I was like, well, that's a bit shit. I mean, they could have done it, leave them down there, and that's the next film lined up, going to see them.
Not that that's going to happen.
And this is what I mean. Last-minute reshoots can sometimes save a film. In more recent history, a lot of films that have had last-minute reshoots, the 2019 Predator, for example, that had, I don't know how many last-minute reshoots. There was about 7 different endings at one fucking point.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, when a film has last-minute reshoots, and I mean, like, it's due to come out in like 3 weeks, and they still don't change the release date, they do reshoots, it fucks the film, fucks it royally.
Yeah.
And
It really does.
As an audience, we're sick of it because we can see it. We can see there was a good film there, but that last 5 minutes, you screw the pooch and we switch off and we don't want to know anymore. And that's what's happened with the MCU. We've had it time and time again where it starts off, we're like, oh, we're having a good time, we're hanging out. And then all of a sudden we're fisted by the fucking House of Mouse.
Yeah, they're making the wrong decisions. I'm sorry, but
They
a
are.
Vision series,
No. Well, like
not
I said about
interested.
the Agatha Harkness series they announced, I was like, why? We don't need that. As great of a character as she was, as brilliantly as she was portrayed,
Yeah,
we don't need a full series of that character.
no, I don't think
We don't. I'm just being a realist. We bash DC as well. Don't get us wrong, but
Oh,
DC kind of deserve it sometimes.
DC bring it on themselves.
Marvel, when we're bashing Marvel like the way we do, it's not out of hatred. It's not because we hate the MCU. It's because we're disappointed. It's that stereotypical parent thing. I'm not angry.
I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed. That hurts more, and that's where I'm at with the MCU.
Yeah.
Time a new thing comes out, She-Hulk. I was so hyped for that because I'm a lifelong She-Hulk fan.
I enjoyed it. I think they got the tone right.
It was the ending for me I didn't like. Just that last episode that fucked it for me. Again, right at the end, they fuck it. Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Brilliant up until episode 4. Again, fucked the ending. And now that's the only thing we remember. The fucked ending.
Yeah, they've just got to stop. Because the difference is, right, to get to Endgame, which let's face it, was fucking brilliant, they took 10 years.
They took a slow burn with it.
Yeah, it took 10 years on films that you gave a shit about.
Yeah, and everything was
with characters you gave a shit about.
Yeah, but now it's characters that are...
Now they just rush.
Yeah.
They rush. Bang, 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 bang. No.
Need to take their time with it. Need to slow down. I've been saying this for the last year or two. The shows, okay, the shows. They did rush an awful lot of the shows out back to back. I think with the films and the shows, they need to rein it in, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And now, thanks to X-Men 97, the X-Men brand is now way back up again. It's now marketable again. Now is the right time for Marvel and Disney to strike while the adamantium's hot and work on an X-Men film, and not just an X-Men film. Don't just rush it out the door. I mean, if they want to learn a lesson from the original X-Men cartoon and X-Men 97, you don't have to do an origin story for every fucking character. This was the mistake that the original X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman made, was that every character that came into it had to have their origin explained.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just X-Men. You know, Batman films do this every couple of years. It's like, did you know, Bruce? Yes. Shut up, Bruce.
Yeah.
You know, we know how.
My parents got killed. Yeah, we fucking know, Bruce.
Yeah, it's like we know the origins of a lot of these characters. Again, they did this with Spider-Man, and I respected MCU for doing this when they brought Spider-Man in during Civil War.
Yeah,
there was no origin. It was just like, here's a kid who's got his webs. Boom.
Bang.
Do that with the X-Men, like they did in the original cartoon. Have a new member joining the team, because that's your audience gateway. If you've got a new member joining the team and coming into this world of mutants with all these mysterious powers, that new character is the audience stepping into that world. You can tell the story through them, right? But for the big name characters, Storm, Rogue, Jubilee, Wolverine, Cyclops, don't give them origin stories. Just boom, do a film. There they are. They're saving a new mutant because Magneto's targeting them, or some evil mutants targeting this one particular mutant. A bit like they did with Rogue in the original film, but that new character, and make it a new character that I don't know, maybe isn't even the comic book. Make up a new character, an MCU exclusive character. Been done in video games.
The problem is they're just trying to keep that casual audience because they want that extra dollar.
Yeah. I think this kind of goes hand in hand, though, with 20, 30 years ago, comic book movies were seen as a very niche market. thanks to Disney and all their money and all their power and everything, turned the comic book movie into the summer blockbuster, the film
Well, yeah, because
everybody had to see.
there used to be a thing called the Marvel Curse.
Yes. But I think we're at the point now, more than ever, where, yeah, the comic book movies become a mainstream thing.
Mm.
Sorry. Old school fans like ourselves kind of get fed up of the same heroes doing the same thing every time. It's why we like so many different heroes.
Yeah.
And when you're big tentpole, when you're depending on that big tentpole franchise like the Avengers, right? And I'm sure Marvel Comics learned this themselves. When it's the same characters constantly, the readers will get bored and they'll move off to something else.
Mm.
Because if you look at X-Men, the Avengers, the Defenders, hell, even the fucking Fantastic Four, have had a rotational roster throughout the years. Okay, you want to keep making Avengers films? Fine, do that. Change the roster up a little bit. It's happened in the comic books. You can do it in the films. It doesn't always have to be Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, because it's not always been that in the comic books. Hell, I remember in one of the comic books for a while, it was the Thing from the Fantastic Four, Wolverine, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
You've got those characters, well, apart from the Thing, you've got those characters. Why not do that as the next Avengers?
That's it. It's interchangeable.
Exactly. And I think Disney needs to learn that now, is that the Avengers are sort of more like a comic book version of the Power Rangers. You can keep the team name, just change up the roster every so often. It's interesting. And it also shows you how the dynamics between the different heroes work, not just in combat, but in their personal lives. You know, like I remember famously watching a cartoon where it was that team of the Avengers, and they were in the Avenger Tower. So you had like Spider-Man having to share breakfast with Wolverine. And it's like you've got a crotchety old ageless Canadian dealing with a teenage Peter Parker first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? Those dynamics. And again, that's part of the draw for these the comic books. It's not just the how do they fight together, it's how do they live together. How do they put up with each other? Because we've seen what these characters are like. A lot of them are arseholes, really, when it comes down to it. You know, Wolverine's a grumpy motherfucker.
Yeah.
He would not take Spider-Man's bullshit for too long. You know what I mean? So, but that's our. We don't want to bash the MCU.
No, we don't.
We do love Marvel, but we are, like a lot of people, bored of what you're doing. You need to up your game. You need to give us something new, something fresh. Stop touting out the old heroes. We've seen enough.
When Star Wars is kicking Marvel's ass,
exactly.
Maybe something needs to change.
Exactly my point on that one.
In more news, and this will be my last bit of news. This bit, I'm getting late. This October will be not. Actually, no. Don't know if it's October or not. I know it's in the autumn. Worth trip to Manchester because there's going to be a Batman exhibition coming over here. Batman Unmasked, with screen used suits from.
Okay, we may have to see about a road trip up there.
Yeah, from the Michael Keaton from '89 to up to now. So.
Okay,
there'll be.
I'll put out calls and see what we can do about that.
Yeah, and
we may have to go to that. We may have to.
And vehicles.
And okay, we're going. If we have, even if we can just get a photo opportunity with the OG Batmobile, I'd die happy. I'd die happy from that.
So all of the films. So there's things like bat suits and
all the gadgets and all
Harlequin suits and all of that sort of shit.
Okay,
Um, apparently nothing from 66.
to be fair though, I don't think a lot would still exist from back then.
Yeah, it'd be in big millionaire collections.
Well, one, it would be in the big millionaire collections, and two, I think back then a lot of stuff got thrown out because I have watched
Yeah.
Tangent
So
Time.
just go, oh yeah.
I have watched so many collectors like videos, channels, and stuff on YouTube, and there was this wonderful one where they were talking about Star Wars stuff, and one of the employees who worked at the set where it was being filmed, when they were getting rid of all the miniature sets and all that kind of stuff, apparently they were just throwing it in a skip because it was seen as rubbish and whatnot back.
Yeah.
And they said there must have been some enterprising people because the amount of times they'd put stuff in the skip and then the following morning that skip was empty and it was not its day to be emptied. So there was some enterprising person back then who went, you know what? That's coming home in my car.
Yeah.
You know, they've probably still got them somewhere, but I think a lot of stuff from that kind of time period is probably lost to time now, whether it's been discarded or not seen as something important. Just sparked a memory in my brain. Do you remember the original Bat Pod that Robin used to drive on, that little go-kart thing? I watched an episode of Toy Hunter years ago on and he actually found the original one, and Burt Ward himself, Robin himself, actually came in to confirm that that was the one that he drove on screen. I was like, he found that like someone's back garage, like half covered in dust. Like, guy didn't even want it no more. He sold it to him for like 500 quid or something like that. And it's the original screen used little thing. I was like, oh, but yeah.
But yeah, if you're thinking, I think let's jump on a train.
Yes, I will. Well, you never know. We might be able to get a ride because I know a couple of people who would be really interested in that. So it may end up being a Calico road trip.
Cool.
But leave it with me. Let me speak to other people, and we'll get back onto that one. But
yeah, we just got to find out when it is, where it is. Yeah. Because all I've heard is it's called Batman Unmasked.
Yeah.
And it's coming over here in the autumn. So.
Yes, right. Autumn. We'll keep you posted on that one because it's barely even summer here. But once we know more, you guys will know more.
Yeah, exactly. I think that will about do it for tonight.
I was just about to say I have no more news. I have no more figure related stuff to show off or talk about. So I think we're done.
We're there. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will lead us out and we will say goodbye for now. But we will be back.
Yes, we will. We'll be back next week, and we're not too sure what next week's is, but it'll be a good one.
Too right.
All right then.
So, goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
We've been us, you've been you, and we'll see you down the road. Take care.
See you in the next one, everyone. Bye.